Hello, dear folks. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. Now, right now, this very moment, I call it the momentum of the Chinese American Film Festival, whose curtain just lifted, unveiled as of last night with the opening ceremony. The coming month of whole November, you're talking about screening of more than 250 films. And well, I believe going to be well attended, judging by the fact that last night at the opening ceremony, we have a full house. We're even overbooked. And of course, I even hear some kind of friendly complaints. Say, come on, give me a better seat. I want to get closer to the stage, some kind like that. And looking back into the past 9 years, we have confirmed that it is a joint efforts from China, from the United States, from anywhere, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Europe, everywhere. It's a joint effort that makes today. And of course, we are determined to make it better. So now, speaking of people, our film artists, of course, we have them coming all the way across the Pacific from China. Domestically in the United States, we say the people from everywhere coming attend the ceremony, the opening ceremony, and the activities of the month following. Among them, domestic filmmakers, we have people come from all the way Atlanta, Georgia to attend. So I'm so proud to present you this great film artist. Should I start with Robert first or with Richard first? Or you guys can do this?
We can just take, we're good at feeding off of each other.
We take turns, right? All right. We have Robert Kelly.
Yes.
And he is the CEO of Long Shot. And we have Richard. I have a problem pronouncing your last name correctly. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Let me try, okay, sir. Richard Tavernaro.
That is correct.
Tavernaro.
Yes. Perfect.
All right, good. I'm even perfect. Okay, so only a few times I can be perfect. Okay, thank you, Richard. So he is the president and CEO, CFO. Yeah, I like the F word. This time I like the F word. This is the only F word I like. Right? Okay. Now, CFO of Long Shot. To both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And when you come back, convey my welcome to people like Atlanta, Georgia. Say, Los Angeles, wait for you. Right? You guys want to come over. Right? So I give them a big hand for coming here. Attending the film festival, they get as excited as I am. Right? And my audience, this is my first time to introduce you from a United States domestic point of view, filmmakers from covering that long distance. Back there in Atlanta, Georgia, I know historical town with lots of history, and people are more subtle than us on the West Coast. So, well, I would like to, if possible, get my audience the privilege of knowing you a little better, such as your background, your saving account, if possible. Yeah, you can say that. Well, your saving account numbers like this. Okay. So who will start? This time I'll start with you, okay. Richard, please.
Oh, thank you. My history, I grew up in the military. My father was in the Air Force, so I traveled the entire world, which is where I developed an appreciation for different cultures, because I was able to be, for 5 years at a time, immersed in different cultures. We lived in Europe, we lived in the Mediterranean, and traveled the world. So I developed an appreciation for different cultures very early.
I see.
Coming out of college, I went into the military. I spent 8 years on active duty and then went into the reserves. Went to graduate school, went to work for the school system, earned the first of my doctorates while I was working for the school system, went into private practice as a psychologist, earned my second doctorate while I was working as a psychologist. And then about 7 years ago, I decided I wanted to try something completely different, so I closed my practice, I retired. And now I work more than ever. I decided to try filmmaking, and I started acting, and then Robert and I met about 4 years ago, and we've been collaborating on this project ever since, and I've thoroughly enjoyed making the films, and have had some success. My last 3 short films have all won awards.
Charlie.
When first I heard about you through my good friend Luann Arredondo, she said you are a double doctor.
Yes.
So you wear, well, both hats on your hat. That I started to admire you with that rich background, especially when she mentioned about the part they were involved. You served your part, served the country for 8 years already. That absolutely, I give you a salute to anybody who served this country. I'm only serving a different way. If they need me, I can be there. Maybe they need a commander or something or general. I can still qualify for that position. For soldier, for combat soldier, maybe I'm too young for that. I can still wait. But anyway, my salute to that.
Thank you.
Now, from a doctor of psychology to a filmmaker, that's a long way. To most of the people, they say, hey, they are kind of like miles away. Okay, zillions of miles away. But in the eye of filmmakers, they might be the same thing. You're talking about psychology. You're trying to get your audience's mind, grasp them, make them cry, make them laugh, make them feel good, make them feel bad, whatever, right? It's okay. All right, that's about you. And can we please know something of the same amount about Robert, please?
All right. I was born in Atlanta, but my mother was Cajun. And when I was probably 6 weeks old, she moved us back to a small crossroads in Louisiana, which was about 40 miles south of Baton Rouge. And we lived there until the beginning of the Second World War. So I did not see my first paved road or traffic light or electricity until I was around 4 years old. And we moved back to Atlanta. I went to my preliminary schools there, went to high school there. And then when I was about 21, I hitchhiked from Atlanta to Los Angeles.
All right.
Specifically,
to do this, right?
yeah, specifically to try take a shot at acting.
I see.
And my mother was very close friends with a lady you will recall named Mae West. And Mae West opened the door for me at 20th Century Fox.
Wow.
So I got in right at the end of the studio system, auditioned and was taken under their wing. And at that time, a contract player made $75 a week. But the great thing was they picked up all the tab. It was across the board, and if they would give you signing power at the commissaries. So I would go to the commissary every day to eat lunch because it was free, and there I met all of my childhood heroes, Alan Ladd and Edward G. Robinson, and Humphrey Bogart. Met all. It was fantastic.
All right.
And they had a clause in my contract that they could lend me out. You didn't get any money for the B movies that you made.
Right.
You got the 75.
Okay, good,
so they made money on me.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And then later they decided to send me to New York and enrolled me in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
I see.
And I could not have gone to that school, but they picked up the tab on that. I received a stipend to live on because in New York you cannot survive on $75 a week.
No.
And met a lot of good people, got a lot of good training, and from there I moved into my first big drama coach was a lady named Stella Adler, and learned an enormous amount.
I see.
Worked with up-and-coming actors like Roy Scheider. Roy and I did a stage play together. And during the course of all this, I was offered a role as an attorney. And so to research it, I went to the courthouse and studied the lawyers. And that was where I got my first inclination that I could do that. So I went ahead and finished up my contract with Fox, moved back to Atlanta, and went to law school.
I see.
And
Wow.
it took a long time for me to get through law school, possibly because I was a slow student, but more because I was going at night. So I earned my bachelor's degree and my master's degree and my doctor of law.
I see.
But it took me 8 years to do it.
All right, 8 years is
8
not long for that.
Well,
for a
it
busy
was,
life
it
like
was all
that,
at
yeah.
night,
Sure.
and I was working
Sure.
during the day doing whatever I could. And what I wanted to specialize in was criminal law. Well, criminal law is broken into different segments, and of course, there's the standard Charles hits Frank in the head with a beer bottle. That's criminal law.
I see.
But that was
Yeah.
not the kind of law I wanted to practice. I wanted to represent professionals.
I see.
Well, they would not. They wouldn't let me in the door because they didn't know, number one, if I knew what I was doing, and number two, they didn't know if I could stand the pressure. There's an enormous amount of pressure in that
You were
area.
young then.
Yeah, oh, very young.
You were young then, yeah.
But Atlanta at that time was. A lot of people don't understand that it was the word era is overused. But
see.
Atlanta in the 70s, it was an era. It never happened before, and it will never happen again.
It's still a conservative town.
It is, and people don't realize
It's still a
how
conservative
much
town, yeah.
organized crime was in Atlanta in the 70s.
It was rampant,
Yeah,
rampant.
rapid. And when my friend Luann Arredondo introduced a long shot as the name, when she started mentioning the word long shot, I didn't recognize it was the name of the company.
The production company, yes.
And then when I looked at that, I said, okay, for people to grab that as the name of the company, they must have some kind of thought. Yeah. So the way it hits me, why it hits me, is because it carries a concept. Filmmaking, it is a long shot.
It is a long shot. Exactly.
It is a long shot.
Absolutely.
It is a long shot. Maybe maybe a longer shot than anything. You make a baby in 9 months, right? You make a film probably in 10 years. I mean, good ones.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, good ones, a long shot. And also, you're talking about visionaries. By the time you finish, would your audience, target audience, still be there?
Exactly.
Will the interest fade away? Right? So, if people are no more interested in your stuff, and you're finished. Right? So, back to my audience today. The special honor is mine to have the chance to meet our filmmakers from as far as Atlanta, Georgia, to come all the way across to attend the Chinese American Film Festival on its 10th anniversary. With me is Richard and Robert. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll take the chance, of course. This is a very golden chance to dig out more from these two great gentlemen in the concept, in the sense of filmmaking. So stay with us.